Hi, my name's Joel. I am a film buff, a Marvel fanatic, generally just a lover of great content, right? But you know what's a little bit frustrating? When things don't go exactly the way you want it to go as a fan, whether that's the movie itself, the press leading up to the movie, whatever it is, it can be frustrating. It can be very frustrating. That's why I'm talking to you today. I want to talk about a little old movie called Morbius. Big sigh. Morbius has been in the news for all the bad and wrong reasons. First of all, early reviews have started coming out for the film. Look, I'm not going to take a lot of weight into those things. You should just definitely just see the film for yourself and not rely on what early viewers are saying. But when they're almost all really bad, and not just like, oh, I didn't like the film, or it's an average film, but really critiquing objective parts of the film that seem unfinished, that's really concerning, especially for a film, that was supposed to release in 2020, and it's going to be released now in the end of March, early April 2022. Like, come on, Sony. But I think that whatever, because we could go to the cinema and Morbius could be just this fantastic film that no one will appreciate, but certain people. That's great. That's what free democracy is about. Being able to like things and defend your own opinion and just not care what other people think, right? But what gets a little bit frustrating is when studios kind of do you wrong. So Morbius in the marketing side has been really poor, in my opinion, but I think in a lot of people's opinions that are following this space. There's been a lot of back and forth media on the film. If you don't want to get spoiled for anything that's in this film, not that I know what's in the film, exactly what's in the film, but any of these kind of talks about what isn't or what is in the film, if they are true, they could be a spoiler. So if you're not into that, click away now. Summary-wise, they've been saying a lot, and summary-wise and spoiler-free-wise, they've been saying a lot about where this movie fits in Sony's kind of grander Spider-Verse, let's call it. Because I think they're calling it like a Spider multiverse. You don't get to call it a multiverse when it's just a couple franchises you own, Like, you're not Doctor Strange, okay? And look, I think that's one of the problems, that we're going to be comparing movies like Morbius to the great MCU movies that are coming out, like Doctor Strange, Thor: Love and Thunder, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, if that is the title. And that's unfair, but that doesn't mean you should struggle to make a solo film. Something that should be quite, I'm not going to say easy to do, but when there's material that's so deep and well thought out and full of substance, like the comic books are for characters like Morbius. And look, yeah, maybe he's not the biggest character. He's not got as many comics as Spider-Man does, but he's fleshed out a lot. There's animated series to rely on. Frustration coming out a little bit as a fan, but some of the press that has been coming out is that, now I'm going to enter, I guess, potential spoiler zone. So if you don't want to hear anything, click away. There's been reports that all of the iconography and references and I guess little bits of tidbits in the Morbius official trailer 2, I should say, have actually been scrubbed from the film. They are not present in the film anymore. So any references to, did I say it? References and little tidbits to Spider-Man, overall. Spider-Man. References to Spider-Man have been scrubbed. That's the report. What I'm specifically talking about is, I saw a report from someone who'd seen the film early that the shot of Morbius walking past the Spider-Man poster that says murderer on it, it's the Tobey Maguire suit on the poster, that shot's not in the film anymore. Scenes are cut. Well, that's not a scene, but I guess shots are cut. Look, films are complicated things. They're living organisms, really. As they say, a film is edited many, many times in the creation process, and then into scripting, and then into shooting, and then to editing, and then even to more editing and post-processing and test audience and all that kind of thing. But removing things like that, to me, is a massive no-no, a really big no-no, because these are the things that you're marketing as the must-see part of your film. You're saying, yeah, Morbius, we're doing this solo thing, it doesn't really matter, but hey, he's in Venom's universe, and maybe there's another web-slinging kind of guy around. Like, you can't tease these things and then just scrub them. It's false advertising. At the like core of it. But they're not going to get in trouble for that because it's not really as bad as what you need it to be like, oh, this is false advertising. But you're not doing yourself any favors. Sony, you're already like down in the dumps. You've got a couple good movies that you've actually made. Yeah, sure, you made the first 2 Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, but you gave it to Sam Raimi and let him do his thing, and that's why those movies were special. You blew it with the Amazing Spider-Man movies. You've done well with Venom and Let There Be Carnage. They're not fantastic movies, but they're quite good. And especially for you, Sony, that really struggles to make a good film, it seems. You've absolutely smashed it with your collaboration with Marvel in No Way Home. But I'm sorry, that's Kevin Feige's baby. I know Sony and Amy Pascal worked real hard on it, but you only get the feeling of those movies. Yes, it's your IP, but the Marvel flavor's there. The Marvel tone's there. It's what makes that film a fantastic film. The frustration, I guess, with all of this is that we've kind of had this like celebration of Spider-Man and No Way Home, and now you with this movie and the marketing. So I'm going to get to the marketing now. You've been marketing this movie, and in an interview you've released that seems to have spoilers for the movie in it, an interview with the director talking about that there is a Spider-Man in this world. Yeah, great. Of course there's going to be. And he talks about the comic book origins of a spider totem, i.e. there's a Spider-Man or a Spider-Woman in every universe within the multiverse. It's just a constant that has to be there. So of course there's going to be a Spider-Man. The issues are, I don't know. This is how I feel. Others might disagree. I don't really want to see any Sony Spider-Man movies like anymore unless you're teaming up with Marvel to do more Tom Holland stuff. Like, I just think you're risking killing that vibe of like No Way Home, bringing your IP, but bringing it all together, your IP, the Marvel movies linked in, Doctor Strange being at the core of No Way Home. It was so special. Do you really want to give Sony back control over this character? And it's not going to be Tom Holland Spider-Man, okay? But that still leaves some dangerous alternatives. Are they just going to put Andrew Garfield in this world? You failed with the Amazing Spider-Man movies. As great as Andrew Garfield is, and I'd love to see more of him on screen, I don't trust him with you, Sony. And that's the thing that's really concerning. You've also really, and this is big spoiler zone. This is actually spoilers. You've really goofed it with your director talking about Vulture being in this film and that it is Toomes from the MCU. He's just said that in an interview. What's going on with the marketing at Sony? Did Disney, like at Marvel, do all the marketing for No Way Home? Or hold your hand throughout the whole process? How do you have a director talking about something as big as that? And look, you've got to talk about the film and get it hyped. But do you really want to just put it out there that you're doing something dumb with the film, which is this is the Vulture, okay? And then your director explains that Vulture was brought across to the Venom and Morbius world because of the spell in No Way Home. Why? It actually brought people into the MCU who knew that Spider-Man was Peter Parker. And then it returned them when they completed the memory wipe spell. Why is Vulture over there? I cannot even come up with... Look, there's creative license. There's always things in movies that are a bit... Even in our movies we love, like No Way Home and Endgame and Infinity War, the best movies of the MCU. But if you're starting from a dumb position, it can only get worse with something like that. I've heard the post-credit scenes are a really good laugh, so I'm very keen to see those. There's been a very negative review in the early screens of the post-credit scenes. It sounds like Sony's doing their classic Sony sparkle in there. It's frustrating to see this kind of thing happen because a film like this, a creation of a new hero on this, or anti-hero on the screen, a very interesting character with a great backstory in the comics. This film, like Venom, this could really pop. It's really hard as a fan to see you making dumb decisions. Regardless, the film could be great. I'm seeing it in 2 days' time. It could be fantastic, and I'll be back on here giving it a review and going, I was wrong. I really hope that's the scenario. I really hope so. But it's just really... It's disappointing and daunting and scary to see you saying dumb things like this in the media and suggesting this is the creative juice that, pumped this movie out. I'm worried what other dumb stuff could be in this film, but we're going to see. It's going to be quite a ride, I'm sure. I'm going to go in with a neutral mind, as we all should. It's just interesting to pay into some of this early stuff. I'm going to try to put aside my disappointment in Sony and just let the film do the talking, as it always should be. You should always just go in and enjoy the film. If you didn't get a neutral experience of it watching it the first time, watch it again before you, come convinced of your view. Which is something I'll do as well. If I really hate Morbius, I'll go and see it again just to make sure I didn't just, have a bad day and just take it out on poor Morbius. But it's really concerning to see the state of film marketing and Sony. Marvel's doing so well with the MCU and with No Way Home, and now we're going into Doctor Strange, and we're gonna get Thor, and we're at this multiverse phase, and they've been doing great with the shows, and yes, I loved your participation, Sony, in making No Way Home happen, and it's a touching experience I will remember forever. But please don't screw it up. Please don't screw it up. It's making me frustrated about your involvement in another Tom Holland film. It's making me frustrated about the Kraven the Hunter film that you're going to make, I think is already in production. And any movie that you start to go, hey, our Spider-Verse, I want it to be good. I'm not, and as well, it makes me frustrated about, are you guys going to do something dumb with Miles Morales in live action? Are you going to ruin that too? This is just like a fan's love letter to the characters and to you as a studio who holds the intellectual property for those characters. And at the end of the day, you're the people that make the films, make the shows, make the content that we love and get excited about. I just want you guys to show that much passion in not only making your film, but marketing it, and the decisions you make in setting up something. You just don't quite yet get the right to call it a Spider-Verse and a multiverse. I want to see you nail Morbius as a single standalone film, maybe with a bit of a tease. Focus on each movie. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't become like DC. But yes, very excited to see Morbius, and I'll be reviewing it, and I'll be talking about it on the podcast with my good friend Ryan. So thanks for listening to my thoughts. I will catch you probably after Wednesday, and I'll give you a review of what I thought of Morbius.